The CEO of a Spokane assisted living center has been fired. Some residents and families say they couldn't be more relieved. We first told you about Riverview Retirement in March when a disabled vet was told to keep out after a short trip to the hospital. Then in June, CEO Charlie Terrell announced he was closing the skilled nursing unit. Devastating news for couples who invested in Riverview, knowing they would need extra care later in life. New on Nightside, a former board member spoke exclusively with Kyle Simchuk about why she pulled her elderly mom out of Riverview a few months ago. Kyle.
Well, Pamela Indahl told me her 98-year-old mother was isolated in her room and not getting the care she signed up for. Their family is also relieved now that the former CEO was fired Monday.
Never asked for anything, tried to do everything herself, even though she really wasn't able to.
It was Mother's Day weekend when Pamela Indahl noticed something wrong with her 98-year-old mother.
She was mostly lying in bed, and that was alarming because at her age, at age 98, there's a hopelessness that goes with that isolation. And because of her dementia, she did not understand why I wasn't coming anymore.
Forced to isolate in her room at Riverview, Indahl says her mom was growing hopeless. So the following weekend, she stood outside her window for 8 hours, taking notes.
Essentially, they didn't do anything. They were not going into a room. They were not helping at all with her care. She was going 2 days without a change of clothes, which meant, no change of anything. She wasn't being cleaned. Her food was delivered in a styrofoam box.
Indahl served as a board member at Riverview for 12 years. Last May, she decided to pull her mom out and take care of her at home.
Right now, her world is here. Her world is where she is at the moment.
Indahl says Riverview's reputation has suffered under the leadership of CEO Charlie Terrell.
The staff turnover was so rapid that nobody ever got to know anybody.
She says her mom's extensive care plan had not been followed for 3 years and that Terrell ignored her concerns. He was fired this Monday.
So it was just a relief.
We reached out to interim CEO Mike Drew about Terrell's termination and Indahl's claims about her mother's care. He wouldn't comment on either issue. It's not the first time we've heard complaints from people who trusted Riverview to care for their loved ones. In March, this disabled vet was taken to the hospital for a nosebleed. His daughter said Terrell wouldn't let him back into the building for 2 weeks, even though residents were isolated in their own rooms. And in June, Terrell made the decision to close Riverview's skilled nursing unit. It came as a shock to many couples who bought homes in the village, knowing they would need the extra help someday. They have hired a lawyer. And we were unable to reach Charlie Terrell for a comment. He refused to talk with us during the last 2 stories we reported earlier this year.